Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the rolling hills of France, there lived a beautiful and intelligent young woman named Belle. She was the daughter of a kind and eccentric inventor named Maurice, who was loved by all who knew him. Belle was a voracious reader and spent most of her days devouring books from the local library. She was especially fond of stories about adventure, bravery, and romance. Despite her love of reading, Belle's life was not without its challenges. She was constantly ridiculed by the villagers for her love of books and her perceived oddness. They saw her as a strange and awkward young woman who didn't fit in with their traditional way of life. But Belle didn't let their opinions bother her. She knew that she was different, and she was proud of it. One day, while out on a walk, Belle's father, Maurice, stumbled upon a grand and mysterious castle. He had been traveling through the forest, searching for a new route to market, when he came across the imposing structure. As he approached the castle, he noticed that it was surrounded by a beautiful garden, filled with vibrant flowers and towering trees. Maurice, being the curious inventor that he was, decided to explore the castle and see if he could find anyone inside. As he entered the grand hall, he was greeted by a loud and menacing voice. It was the voice of the Beast, a fearsome creature who had been cursed by an enchantress for his arrogance and lack of kindness. The Beast, who had once been a handsome prince, had been living in the castle for many years, surrounded by his enchanted servants, including a talking teapot, a clock, and a candelabra. They had all been cursed along with the Beast, and were forced to live in the castle, serving him and keeping him company. When Maurice stumbled upon the castle, the Beast was furious. He saw the old man as an intruder and a threat to his way of life. He imprisoned Maurice, intending to keep him as a prisoner forever. Belle, who had been searching for her father, soon discovered his whereabouts and set out to rescue him. As she approached the castle, Belle was met by the Beast, who was just as fierce and intimidating as she had imagined. But despite his gruff exterior, Belle saw something in the Beast that no one else did, a deep sadness and longing for connection. She realized that the Beast was not just a monster, but a complex and multifaceted individual who was capable of great kindness and compassion. The Beast, who had grown tired of his solitary existence, was drawn to Belle's intelligence and beauty. He began to see her as a potential companion, someone who could share his life and help him to break the curse. But Belle, who had grown wary of the Beast's temper and possessiveness, was hesitant to trust him. As the days passed, Belle and the Beast began to form a tentative bond. They would spend hours talking and sharing stories, and Belle would read to the Beast from her favorite books. The Beast, who had never been much of a reader, was fascinated by Belle's love of literature, and he began to see the world in a new light. But despite their growing friendship, the Beast's temper and possessiveness continued to be a problem. He would often lash out at Belle and try to control her every move. Belle, who valued her independence and autonomy, would resist the Beast's attempts to dominate her, and the two would clash. One day, the Beast realized that he had been taking Belle for granted. He had been so focused on his own needs and desires that he had forgotten to consider hers. He realized that he had been selfish and inconsiderate, and that he needed to change his ways. So, the Beast made a conscious effort to take turns and share with Belle. He began to listen to her more, and to consider her feelings and opinions. He learned to compromise and to find common ground, and the two began to form a more equal and balanced relationship. As the days turned into weeks, Belle and the Beast grew closer and closer. They would spend hours talking and laughing together, and the Beast would show Belle the wonders of the castle and its enchanted gardens. Belle, who had once been hesitant to trust the Beast, now saw him as a true friend and companion. In the end, the Beast's curse was broken, and he was transformed back into a handsome prince. He and Belle fell deeply in love, and they lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness and wisdom. The prince, who had once been so selfish and arrogant, had learned the value of taking turns and sharing with others, and he was grateful to Belle for teaching him this valuable lesson. The moral of the story is that taking turns and sharing with others is essential for building strong and healthy relationships. When we take the time to listen to others and to consider their feelings and opinions, we can form deep and meaningful connections. By being willing to compromise and find common ground, we can overcome even the greatest challenges and achieve great things. And so, Belle and the prince lived happily ever after, surrounded by their friends and loved ones, and filled with joy and contentment. They knew that their love was strong enough to overcome any obstacle, and they were grateful for every moment they spent together. Years went by and Belle and the prince had two beautiful children, a boy and a girl. They were the light of their parents' eyes. The children grew up learning the value of taking turns and sharing with others from their parents, and they became loved by all who knew them. The story of Belle and the prince was passed down from generation to generation, a reminder to always take turns and share with others, and to never forget the value of kindness, compassion, and love. And so, the story comes to an end, but the lessons and values that Belle and the prince learned will live on forever, a reminder to always take turns and share with others.